Hi, welcome to Sorry. In this video, we'll talk about the grammar and the vocabulary that you need in your speaking. The thing is that, first of all, we are not native people, and there are going to remain such errors in our speaking. And I have heard from the official people that even they make grammatical errors and vocabulary errors, but they do not take them so seriously. We Indians are about perfectionism, and I am actually a good example of that in a very bad way, I would say, because this approach I think is not very healthy, but let it be. So I have heard this thing quite a lot of times, as in, sir, I know grammar, I know vocabulary, but I'm not able to speak it or I'm not able to use it. First of all, these things are not something that you can have just by the kinds of efforts that you have been doing for your academic studies in school or maybe at college. Those things are mostly about cramming, and we have been through the same kinds of academic curricula. The Indian education system is more about being able to complete the sheets, writing plenty of words and all. So these are skills are developed. Have you seen ever a gym guy? He would actually be leaving things out for his body. He would be avoiding parties. He would be all about eggs and other sources of protein. He would be all about building his body, and he would actually skimp on things that are otherwise very attractive and bewitching. But when it comes to English, or when it comes to developing these skills, developing things that are quite brainly, we kind of are not able to do the kinds of sacrifices that are needed. And let's see how I can help you with this thing. First of all, this video is not going to do any miracle. I'm just going to share what I know about this concept, and how I have used it in my life. But it is very you know labor intensive, it is very long, and if you are looking for some kinds of shortcuts, I request you to leave this video right away. So as I was saying, passions and problems. The thing is that we are not ready to, make any kinds of sacrifices. We are all about having shortcuts, paying the fee, and knowing the thing. Nothing of that sort happens. And this is something that has led to that tuition culture in India. That you know, institutes are more about the glamour than the substance, and they are providing you with the illusionary shortcuts, and you're adopting them, and nothing is happening, and you're actually ready to pay sums that these courses don't deserve. So I am a big nerd. I have devoted my life to my subject, and I'm still learning it. And trust me, you can see my beard, you can see the starting of this video, the ending of this video. Have I made any kind of decoration? Have I, you know, has my title flown into your face or something, or has something attracted you just by the glitz of it? Nothing of that sort, because real teachers work on their skills and their students skills. And I'm preparing for self pick right now, and I have to teach my students and all. So it's all about compromising things. It's more about being able to devote your time to what you need, and how you can do it. As in, I'm going to talk about that in the subsequent parts. First of all, we are not natives. We are going to do you know a lot of things that are not conducive to our how people see us or how people perceive us to be, because we Indians are more about judging people on the spot, and English is a kind of, I think, jewelry here. As in, if someone knows it, he or she is given the kind of respect that a literate would deserve and something. And yeah, English demands a lot of hard work, and if someone knows it properly, it's quite a good thing. But because of the shishi associated with this thing, people are always on their, I would say, are ready with their weapons to attack someone who makes a grammatical or lexical mistake, and that is not the right thing. We are not natives, and speaking on top is something very natural. It is something very uh, reflexive, where you do not have much control on what you are saying, and native people have grown in that atmosphere. Do you know, as in, since our national language or official language is Hindi, the thing is that we never read the rules of Hindi properly, or we never read the um, rules of our particular vernaculars properly, but we kind of know them very well and we can speak properly in our languages. That is just because we have been raised in those atmospheres, and in those years our brains are, you know, more about getting things than showing them, and that has led to a kind of configuration that has made us, able to speak our languages properly. But English has not been like that with most of us. Yeah, there is a section of society in India that is all English and very little Hindi or Punjabi or whatever. Since they grow up in that kind of atmosphere, they become natural speakers, of epic proportions, I would say. But that part of our country where the language is required but is not given, through the childhood journey, throughout the childhood journey, then how can we become so, I would say, natural afterward? Is we have to, make amends in our natures itself. We have to do something that is gonna, take a lot, that is gonna change our lifestyles, and the process is not, I would say, endless. Of course, if you want to become an English teacher, if you want to become a very good English teacher, you have to keep learning, and that is going to require compromises throughout your maybe lives and all. But if you are just about knowing the English to a level where you can speak it confidently with a high degree of accuracy in grammar and vocabulary, then the process is not endless, but it is quite long, maybe 5 years, maybe 4 years, and no tips and tricks work. As in, the people who say such things do not know how to speak English. First of all, I am not going to take names, but I'm not going to name names. This is also an idiom, but as in whom I am talking about. So you have to change your atmosphere. You have to surround yourself with things that are going to teach you English reflexively, that are going to teach you English, so that it becomes your natural mechanism, a kind of natural mechanism. So what you can do is you can surround yourself with English material, like reading. You can listen to podcasts, you can listen to things that are, you know English, um, properly, as in English movies, English songs, English publications, English maybe comedy shows or something. Do not rely on channels that are helmed by Indians, because they do not teach English properly. The ones I have seen for sure don't teach English properly, and I may not be the best teacher also. So surround yourselves with things that are naturally English. Maybe I love that guy J E2 English. He is extraordinary, as in, from what I've heard from him, and the official IELTS channel and other things. I love songs. These movies and all, Netflix and all. Just surround yourselves with these things, and natural multiplication will happen. We think that we have to know the structures of grammar to be able to use it properly in our writing and speaking, but nothing of that sort happens with the kind of efforts you are putting in. See, language is very naturally multiplying. You listen to something, your brain extracts a pattern, and that pattern is utilized afterward by the brain in various contexts. It will use it, like here it will produce 10 sentences out of a sentence, and that has happened with our vernaculars also. Can you not uh, you know correspond this thing with the kinds of things you make in Punjabi or Hindi or whatever vernacular pertains to you? You have always known examples and then produced examples by yourselves, and that is going to happen with English also. Then, if you want to learn vocabulary, if you want to be someone who is beyond the pop culture aspects of English learning, English grammar and vocabulary learning, you can always learn vocabulary. There are so many sources, but again, I would say go to the official sources, and I'm going to show you two: one for vocabulary, the other for grammar. So let's go to the vocabulary source. Merriam-Webster is a very good source for vocabulary, for idioms and all also. It gives a word a day, and you can also, you know, search for idioms here. I have not been able to display that right now. But there are some other dictionaries also, Collins Dictionary, dictionary.com. You can always search for idioms and all also. But I'm going to talk about words only right now. So you can search for a word, as in also there is this feature word of the day where you can get a word a day, and the list is also there as in the previous words of the day. And it's not about only knowing the word, you'll have to use it a lot. You'll have, once you learn the word, you get to see its examples, you use it in 10 sentences or 12 sentences or 20 sentences, only then can you be able to use it properly in your maybe organic conversations. um, don't be afraid of making lapses, as in it is perfectly natural for a non-native speaker to make errors, because I think, first of all, error is not a derogatory term. It's something very normal. It's our learning process. So even if people make fun of you, make fun of them. And for grammar, you can rely on Macmillan Dictionary. You can always search for a word. For instance, if I have to use listen, so if I search for this word, I will get to listen to, listen for. So I will get the proper structures. And once you have known them, I tell you what the subsequent stage is. And also you should be looking for the collocations, as in how the words are used collectively. You should always explore collocations, like which adverbs go with this verb, which other things go with this verb, which prepositions and all. And this is how you're going to become a, you know, a proficient person in regard to the vocabulary and the grammar aspects of English. The thing is that you have to revise things a lot. You know, we in our schools, when we had those exams, we the final exams, before that we had many tests, many revision exams, many practice exams. Only then did we used to be able to do well in our main exams. And that is going to happen here also. And also we were serious back then. Right now we are very casual, we are very nonchalant, and things, skip the memory or skip whatever you want to use, you know in your speaking and all, they vanish more often now. So you'll have to be very dedicated. Like, I'm learning French from scratch right now, and I know how I forget things in a jiffy. So keep revising things also. You can keep a lot. Like, what I do is I have made a WhatsApp group. It includes me only. I keep sending screenshots in that group, and I keep revising the things every now and then, mostly when I wake up, so that my memory is at its peak. My, I would say, retention power or my grasping power is at its peak at that point. And it is again, something that you should not be very hasty about. I'm telling you, you're gonna forget things a lot, and it's perfectly fine. There is this thing going on in the English world that they are now telling, don't use these difficult words or those difficult words. Like, to them it is something very normal, to us it is something very glamorous. So kinda try to keep it very normal, and be very comfortable with what you're using, even partially correctly. It's okay. No one is, there are very few grammar Nazis out there, and most people don't care about the accuracy of your grammar and vocabulary. They are just into knowing the meaning of what you are saying. And your grammar and vocabulary, if they are correct up to that level that the other person is able to understand what you are saying, then you have done the thing. You have passed that stage of being a non speaker, I would say. Then the process is very slow, as I said, as in, it's not that I was born a speaker. I was born in a very, you know rustic family, I would say. My parents don't know English, my siblings don't know English and all, but still I was able to do it. But it did not happen in a day, in a month, or in a year. It has taken me about, like, I remember I got serious in this aspect perhaps prima facie, I think 2008 or 9, as in it's been a journey since then, my English journey. And now I'm able to, teach others, but it's very gradual. It's very something that you should be patient with. And do not take it too seriously. Like people take this aspect of grammar and vocabulary, like only grammar and vocabulary are there to make you a good speaker. No, first of all, it's your stamina, your ability to continue the conversation, which is not taught by many teachers. You should be very, very, shook on being able to speak itself. Then you can, rectify it properly. You can record yourself, as in, okay, now let me tell you the aspect of recording. As in, you should be, when you have, been through that stage of knowing English through pop culture, you can always record yourself and get to know your errors. Like that is something I do. And now I do it quite, okay, I do it right now also. Like I re-listen to my YouTube videos to know my errors and all. So it's not going to be something that you can do in large amounts. You can use only one answer, record yourself, as in hear it properly, listen to it properly, find your errors. You can use a grammar checker, you can use something, you can use a teacher, and get to know your errors. Then speak the correct versions. You can use this application also. I've always gone gaga over it, small talk. It gives you your errors in a written form. Small talk is a website. I Whenever someone enrolls into my classes, I give an account. It's a paid website, of course, and there are some features that are free also. So, but the IELTS thing is paid, so I buy it for my kids, and we practice using this website a lot. So, whenever you have known your errors, whenever you have known your things that are wrong, and first of all, you should rectify them. You should know the correct versions using any source, and then, but a reliable one, not a, I would say a pseudo teacher. So after that, you should be, repeating the right versions. Only then will they, get onto your tongue, and you'll be able to use them properly afterward. So suppose I used to speak like this. I listened him, and one day I noticed my error, as in from one of my recordings, and I got to know that the correct version, should have been, I listened to him. Then I would become, cautious about it. I would repeat myself on purpose. I listened to him. I listened to him. I listened to him. Maybe for a week, maybe for a month, and then it will become my, reflex. I would not use the wrong version afterward. And also, our brains are very, I would say, driven by our ego and all. And once our brain has known that it has done some kind of mistake and it has been rectified, it will try not to use the erroneous version afterward. And remember, the tiredness factor is a big impediment also. Like maybe it is with me only because I'm a teacher and I have to teach so long. But whenever you are tired, you kind of make more mistakes than when you are fresh and all, because again, it's not our native language. We have learned it. It's something that has been um, grasped by us, rather than something that has been fed into our brains uh, through maybe indirect means, like the ones, as in, that we had in our childhood, when the Punjabi and the Hindi elements were inserted in our brains. So, as in, do not take it to heart. First of all, it's perfectly fine not to be able to speak English. You just have to be commercial enough to fend for yourself. That is what I know. And again, do not take it too seriously, like you're making mistakes and all. Even natives are very frivolous. They are not very serious about anything. So it's not an exam, it's life, and making mistakes is perfectly fine. So learn, but don't yearn, I would say. So let me go to the points again, as in I may have missed out on one or two, but if I have not, then that is the end of the video, I would say. Fine. This is the end of this video. If you liked it, give it a like. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.